All right, Pops, another week has come and gone. What is the read on the used and new car market? I know we've got some stories that we're going to be talking about here, especially with our friends over at Toyota. But what's going on? What's the prognosis?
I think there's news we're going to be talking about. Stories are things that I give you all the time.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Should we start with the Toyota news?
Toyota cutting production again in July by 50,000 units to go along with the 150,000 unit drop in production for June. That's 200,000 units over a 60-day period of time that will not be built and will not be making it to market. That bodes poorly for consumers, bodes well for dealers and the profit levels that they're being able to attain at the moment.
You and I had talked about it just the other day on one of the live shows, that the disparity between Toyota and some of the other automakers on the new car side in terms of inventory is huge. Like, for example, BMW, and you talked to your buddy Chip,
Yes,
who works for a multi-store dealership group. BMW inventories, especially their SUV inventories, are actually up 30% month over month. At the other end of the spectrum, Toyota inventories continue to struggle, and it pains me to say it, but Toyotas typically are more of the cost-effective cars to buy, even though they're actually pretty expensive nowadays, especially with the dealer markups.
Well,
but it's different.
Yeah, they are on average probably the most expensive of the Japanese brands traditionally, and also the most popular. And you know, when you're the most popular, you can also have the highest prices. They are truly struggling over the past 60, 90 days to keep up with the production levels that they had anticipated for 2022, and that their dealers were counting on. Like I say, the only good thing about this for the dealer body is that probably 90% of the incoming Toyota allocation to these dealerships has a reservation on it from an existing customer at this point. So the stuff is basically pre-sold, and the dealers can sell it for whatever they want. That is not a good thing for the consumers, because cost and prices of everything are rising, and the cost of cars is rising faster than most items. Wondering what your car's worth? Get a free valuation at YAA. It's just a click away.
All right, so now let's just hit on one other thing that's impacting the new car side, and let's talk about the used car market. This article, Dad, headline in Automotive News: Alex Partners predicts supply chain issues to last through 2024, EV costs grow. So really the major point here is, if you don't like hearing us talk about how the chip shortage is continuing, like, neither of us are offended if you stop watching. Like, we get it. Check back in a year. That is totally A-okay. But actually continue to watch if you don't mind, because it makes the numbers look good. But either way, Dad, the supply chain issues are not going away. We had an article a couple weeks ago from Daimler and BMW saying, hey, we've fixed it a little bit. Things are a little bit better. And we're starting to see that a touch with BMW inventories. However, for the market as a whole, for the mass market brands, the more economical, affordable brands, Alex Partners is saying it right here. We're not through it. Look at the Toyota headline. We're not through it.
I think what they're really saying is that it's not just the chip shortage. You know, the chip shortage to a certain degree is being mitigated, but there are larger supply chain concerns and issues. Wiring harnesses that are built in Ukraine, lockdowns in China and Shanghai and other areas of Asia that impact industry, not just the automotive industry, but all industry. Everybody has been, from automobile manufacturers to most prognosticators, hoping for a way for this to lessen, and it hasn't. When you look back on what people have said, it turns out it was merely hope. It wasn't based on real quality information. And Alex Partners, I think, is trying to give a broader view of what's really happening out there. Based on what everybody else is saying, they're kind of like the contrarians of all this.
Yeah, but true contrarian Dad would be saying this is going to last through 2025 or 2026,
and that's
which
you.
It probably will.
And that's you, okay. But these are the first ones to say, hey, guess what? This really isn't going away until, and they say through 2024. You know, that doesn't mean, hey, come January 1st, 2024, everything's fixed. They're talking about it's going to take through the entire year of 2024, so that realistically, where you see the requisite amount of parts and supplies is 2025, which is what you keep saying.
Let's quickly switch gears then and talk about the used car market because it's obviously impacted by new car supply. So for the
Yes.
second week in a row, the Black Book used car market index is up a tenth of a percent.
Yes.
And the storyline here has been the same for months, ever since we started to see gas prices increase. More fuel efficient vehicles are the ones that are increasing in value
Yes.
the most on the used car market.
Yes.
Those that are less fuel efficient are still continuing to take a hit. Interestingly, though, this past week, compact vans skyrocketed. So evidently the van market has resurged from its slight slowdown,
Yes.
very slight slowdown in terms of appreciation. But the storyline on the used car market's still the same, Dad. Nothing's really changed there yet.
It has not. What I would truly be interested in, and maybe we can send an email to some of our friends at Black Book, is how it's impacting the hybrid and EV segments. Because you'll notice in their weekly report, it's not like we get a breakdown of EVs and hybrids. And
And one time we did ask and we got that
Yes.
data, so I will definitely send that email.
and my suspicion, merely a suspicion, but with gas averaging somewhere around $5 a gallon nationally for regular gas, my suspicion is that EVs and hybrids are appreciating at a higher rate or depreciating at a slower rate than gas vehicles, than pure ICE vehicles. And that to me would be the interesting data to see if our supposition actually holds true.
One other storyline to note here, we had one of our community members, Igor, mentioned to us during one of our live streams that at the Mannheim Auto Auctions, a lane for used cars being sold was literally just for 120 repo cars.
Yes, that was
so
last
it's interesting. Yeah, so it's interesting. Maybe we're starting to see a few more repossessions, some more loan delinquencies, some more inventory then on the used car side. Maybe that could help. You pair more supply with less demand. Maybe you end up in a place where there's some price parity, prices coming back down. That's something to watch.
And one of the things in the Black Book report was that day supply is creeping up to a 38-day supply on or days to turn, whichever it was, but it's going up, which indicates that even though prices are still going up slightly, wholesale prices are still going up slightly, sales volumes are slowing to a certain degree. We're not seeing the stuff get sold instantly. Although I will tell you this, I checked and my Mini that I traded in is no longer in inventory. So that didn't last a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, well, we'll keep our pulse on it. We'll update everyone as we get more information. I'm going to send that email to Black Book about EVs and hybrids. I bet you're right about that, Dad. I think we both feel similarly, but let's get some data to back it up.
Yes, there's nothing more that we like than good data.